Oh yeah.
Okay, what a wonderful day here at the Noble Shire for progressive discussion, bringing two great people together here. Grażyna Bienkowski. I hope I said that right. I,
You said it
oh
perfectly.
my
Thank
God,
you.
my wife's going to be proud of me. I always botch names, so thank you. And then Ken Stringfellow, you guys know him, hopefully. I've interviewed him before, but he is, a former member of the Posies and many, many other bands. He's a music producer, and now he's a solo artist, and he's creating some fantastic albums. He's been through a lot lately, and we're going to talk to them about their relationship with this, with Regina's album. And then we'll also talk a little bit about what Ken's been up to as well. But the focus is on Grażyna and her fantastic album, which is On the Edge of Sylvia. And the one thing I didn't do is put down the date of that release. And I think it was actually last year, if I'm not
2 years ago, exactly. It
Two
was in
years ago.
May
Yeah. I knew
2024
it was a while ago. Yeah.
already.
But
Yeah, yeah.
it's a fantastic album called On the Edge of Sylvia. We're going to talk about the inspiration for it. But first of all, I'm going to shut up because my wife always says, you know, that you have these long introductions. So I'm going to let them just say hi and introduce themselves a little bit, and then we're going to jump into it.
Okay, so hi everybody. Thank you for the invitation, Mark. I'm Grażyna Bienkowski. I'm a pianist, composer, songwriter, a musicologist as well, and cellist. And actually, I'm most a composer, I think, and a performer as a pianist. That's a quite resume of my profile. I came from classical music. Maybe it's interesting to tell it because as a mixed profile, so I'm very classical trained and based, but then I was catched by rock music and I used sometimes jazz influences in my writing. So it's a big, maybe a big, how to say that? Un mélange, a mix. That's a big
Yeah.
mix in music through my influences, and I'm also writing contemporary music for orchestra. So you see, you have a large vision of all of
She
my
has a
life.
she has a big range of music. That is awesome. Yeah.
I'm
And
trying to do that. Yeah,
I can't wait to hear it all for sure. And she's coming from Brussels, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken, Belgium.
yeah.
We've got a multi international call here. I'm in Bellingham, like I always. I'm Washington, on the west coast of Seattle, and then Ken, go ahead and say hi, and he'll tell you where he's at,
Oh, all
if you
right.
want.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm Ken Stringfellow. And first of all, I want to say this that here you have like if proper names were allowed, you would have two winning Scrabble moves between Grażyna
Oh
and
my.
myself. I mean, like there are more letters in these two names added together. It's like we have a lot. I
That's
can
right.
feel, I know, like my signature for autographs and things like that, or signing checks when we used to do that, or signing a document. I mean, it's just like an oval now because I got so tired of writing out Ken
I
Stringfellow.
bet. Yeah.
But I am a musician. Yeah. I I come from where Mark lives. I come from Bellingham, Washington. I grew up there for a good portion of my childhood and went to high school there. I'm in France right now, where I spend a lot of time. Um, as Mark said, I played in the band The Posies for many years, and I'm a producer for many, many, many artists and a session musician for many, many, many artists, and a solo artist. And Yeah, fairly eclectic background as well. I mean, people know the kind of power pop, rock and roll um, aspects of the Posies, but I work on electronic music and I've worked with bands on every continent except Antarctica. And I try and
Yeah,
just
I don't think there's
diversify my
many
life.
there, are there? No.
Yeah, not many, not any
Penguins. No, I'm
indigenous ones
kidding.
anyway.
Uh,
But yeah, I'm also I feel in later years, that in addition to being a musician, or maybe actually instead of being a musician, what I really am is a kind of hmm. I think I do energetic work that comes through music, and I don't do it by hanging a shingle and say, "Hey, I'm an energetic healer," but I think that I'm on a journey that's built up that uses music as a way to facilitate a kind of healing energy. I think I only understood this recently, but this is kind of I'm not really in the music business, as it were. Even though I work all
mm,
day in music, I think I'm really doing something else most of the time. But in that work, I end up basically, it looks like I'm a musician. I make records for people all day long, every day in, day out. I've got probably a roughly 500 album discography of albums that I've worked on, either my own or for others that
he's definitely
represent.
prolific. Yep. And he's working on a new album as we speak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's me.
Uh, just one other thing, one of those other big names that he was in for a while was REM. Um, I don't know the full, and I know we're getting off subject already, but how long were you in it? And it was at the beginning, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, I was involved with REM for 8 years. It was
Oh,
not at the beginning of their career. I was only 12 when their band started.
okay.
But I started playing with them in 1998 for the promotional tour of the record Up that they released that year.
Okay.
And that
Yeah.
was a huge thing because
Great album.
I've been pretty well experienced, with the Posies. We were signed to a major label. We played some big festivals, but this was a whole nother deal. But I made two albums with REM. The albums Reveal, which came out in 2001, and Around the Sun, which came out in 2004. And I toured all over with them, playing,
Okay.
hundreds of shows, and it was a really, really cool experience.
Okay. And let's come back to Regina. Regina, tell us about how you got started in music. What was it? Because I always ask this question, and people talk about all sorts of other things, but what was it? And actually, Ken answered this question for me a long time ago, or not that long, a couple of years. Anyway, what is it that lit your fire? The Doors song. Yeah, come on, baby, light my fire. What was it that lit your fire and said, I'm going to do this the rest of my life? I love this. And
Yeah.
it's just, as Ken
I,
said,
I think,
he
yeah.
couldn't not do it.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's like Ken just told to us, it's a question of energy. I started music when I was 7 or 8 years, so I was quite young. And I was shy. I didn't talk a lot all the time. And through the instrument, the piano, I could express myself very specifically, and I felt something very right about me. Then I was interested by the stage and how to communicate my energy through something else than words. That's why I was first interested by instrumental music, most of all. So after my studies, yeah, I discovered Keith Jarrett during my classical studies, and of course Tori Amos. And I was like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I would like to be the synthesis of both of them. It was quite a high level dream,
Yeah.
but I was like that. Sometimes I will create my language with the piano or with the cello, but only with music because I can feel that's the the media the most close of my heart. So that's why I was close to Ken when he was talking about energy because it's more than music. We are making something more bigger than music. It's not only putting our chords or lyrics. It's just it's more than that. you have to communicate a vision, emotions, energy, message, something very, um, sometimes very tight or very large. And sooner I decided to be a performer. Yeah. And
Okay.
I didn't hesitate long after my college.
Yeah.
All right. And you already
Grażyna, I
covered.
have a question,
Yeah.
just real quick. I mean,
Go
are
ahead.
either of your parents musical?
No, not at all. They were afraid of that because about the security of the job.
Yeah,
It's
Uh-huh.
Billy
all the
Baby.
time. It's all the time. Oh yes, a musician. Sometimes he's working, sometimes not. Sometimes it works. So they were not very. They are a good listener. My father
Mhm.
was a fan of Deep Purple, Jimi Hendrix, so he was fed by all that kind of music. My
Mhm.
mother was a fan of French music, and both of them had a classical LP like Penderecki and all the composers very known in contemporary music. So
Mhm.
I dive into it very young, and
Mhm.
they were listening a lot of music at home, more than TV.
Mhm.
All right. Thanks for that. That was a good question. All right. And you did cover a couple of your favorite bands. Are there any others you wanted to mention that helped influence you?
Yes, I think in classical music there are some composers that I like a lot to play and that influence me, like Debussy, Rachmaninoff, Chopin, of course, Beethoven,
Mhm.
Bach, because I'm always saying that Bach is at the roots of jazz music for me.
Yeah,
He created everything. He created a lot of colors, of language, of combination, and
Mhm.
you have all in Bach's music. If you want to study the details, you can understand
Mhm.
everything with his music. Yeah,
I think
but
you're saying
yeah, sorry.
Johann Sebastian Bach, right? Not
Yeah,
Bach.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Johann Sebastian Bach.
Just
Yes, yes.
just so people keep the two separate.
Okay, okay. So I was
Beck
talking
came
about
along a lot later. I love Beck, but
yeah, yeah.
I think you're talking
And
about Bach.
also, when I was a teenager, I was a huge fan of, as we say it here, grunge music. I don't
Yeah.
know if, yeah. So I was listening to Nirvana, of course, or Rage Against the Machine, and so on. And I was between all of those influences already as a listener. And I
Mhm.
think it keep going now in my practice. Oh yeah,
I just came from the home of it
yeah,
in Seattle. Well, what's left of the home of it, I shouldn't
yeah,
say,
yeah.
because it's a brand new waterfront record store. It's not the whole company and all that.
Okay.
Um, but okay, now will you? I think the two of you got together to play the part of the at least this song live. Maybe you did some other songs. Did you do that, or it's coming?
Well, I hope it will be coming again.
Oh, okay. But
But
I think you've done it together. You've performed live together. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, we
Yeah.
performed twice, I think. Once at twice in Brussels, and once it was a crossover concert. So we mixed our songs
Mm.
and the common songs we have. Yeah,
Yeah, we did. That was the kickoff of my European tour last
yeah,
year that we did a show together where we is, each, you could say a co-headlining show, and we performed together songs that we have in common, like songs I did on her album, or the song I did in her album. And and before that, I mean, we can go back to the beginning, right? I mean that
Yeah. Where did you meet?
if I
That's
recall, if oh, sorry, if I recall correctly, right, that we met when I played with Wilco at the AB,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
A venue in the Ancienne Belgique, which is a venue in
yeah.
Brussels, and I was supporting Wilco for a few dates of their 2019 tour, and we met there, yeah. And then I came back to play L'Archiduc.
Yeah,
That
six
was the
months later.
same. That was the same year, right?
Yeah,
It had to
a
be
few
because the
months
next year was
later.
2020.
Yeah, it was the same year, 6 months later, I think.
Yeah.
And you asked me to sing your song with you
Yeah.
uh, as a
Which
back.
song?
So
Um,
on my album, I have my album that came out in 2012, Dancing in the Moonlight.
yeah,
There's a song called "Doesn't It Remind You of Something," which is a duet. Um, it's with Charity from the Head and the Heart. If you have the
Yeah,
CD, it's with Margaret
I don't
Cho. If
have
you
that.
have the
I've heard
LP,
of Head and Heart,
yeah.
but
So it's a duet that's so in my sets as I travel around, invite different people to come and sing with me. And then there's a few other songs that I've done over the years that can be done as duets. And so you know, would like to have people sing with me because it kind of, I'm just playing solo very
yeah,
intensely, piano and guitar for 2 hours. It gives a little variety to the show.
yes.
And so knowing that Grażyna was a singer, etc. So I invited her, and she learned a couple of tunes to duet with me at the show, and that was really really good.
yeah.
And then
And then when I started to think about
That was
my
perfect.
Age of Sylvia album, it started during the COVID period. I wanted to create a songbook about Sylvia Plath poems, but
Yeah.
I never get the rights to use her
Oh,
text. Yeah, because it's not available yet, and no one
yeah.
can get it. So I had to rethink everything, my project, and I was like that. I have to do something with that personality because I like her text. I like her personality. She touched me about a lot of things because I was concerned also by the lot of what she passes through her life. So I decided to write myself a kind of answer to her poems. And through those answers, I wanted to choose other voices than mine. Of course, I met Ken and I liked a lot his voice. So I asked him first if he was agreed to be a guest on this album to put the first song on it, and he did it. He did it quite well.
What was it about Sylvia that you found in common?
I think it's the duality of being a woman artist nowadays. Even if Sylvia Plath lived 60 years ago, I think there is a lot of things still in common now because you have to struggle a lot between your real
Yes.
life, your everyday life, between your artist artistic career, and sometimes it's still difficult for a woman. I perceive for a woman, but and I was touched by the fact that she was determined as I am to go through her dream. Even if she was more fragile than I am, I think, about some points. I felt very close to her, and I liked her way of writing words because there is a rhythm in her poems that I wanted to use in music. That was the first start. It's very rich in terms of content and in terms of choice of words. So that's why I choose Sylvia Plath as the leitmotif of my album.
In
It's
poetry,
it's more a tribute than a songbook now. It's a tribute to Sylvia Plath through her life, through her words, and through my vision of her poems.
yeah.
and
In
poetry is
fact,
often
in
the
oh,
foundation for lyrics and lyrical
Yeah.
content and music in itself. And Bob Dylan, there's so many others. But that no, that's a perfect place to go to look for that kind of inspiration. I'm sorry, Ken, you're
didn't we record a version that was her words at
Yeah,
first?
yeah,
oh
yeah.
wow.
First we recorded a version with the text that I didn't change, but I was still waiting for the rights from the publisher, and I had to wait 9 months to have an answer that no, it's not possible. So I had to recreate the lyrics myself. Yeah.
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 We did an album. I did this album with Carice Van Houten. Yeah, she's an actress
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
from the Netherlands, quite well known from her role in
Yeah, I
Game of
know her.
Thrones and stuff like that. And we
Yeah.
did this album 10, 15 years ago that I helped produce. And one of the songs we did, and now I'm racking my brain to remember who it was, but it was a famous American female poet who was not quite contemporary. I don't think she was still alive, but it wasn't Sylvia Plath, it was somebody else. And we had this magnificent song that we'd done to it. And this is on a major label. This is for Universal. And the estate said, nope, and
Yes.
that was that. And that was that. There's nothing else you can say. I'm always surprised, because
Why not?
sometimes if you're altering a work, they don't
Yeah.
like that. But if you're just putting the poetry into music and there's a royalty that will be paid from that, just as when you cover a song, I have no control over if somebody covers my song. They can do that as there's a system that says how much royalties they will get for making a cover song or if I cover someone's song. But for some reason with poetry, it doesn't work the same way. It's like considered like it won't have the same value as it does if it's sitting there in a book that where you have to buy the
Yeah.
book to get it, I guess. It's too bad because it would expose the work, I suppose, to a lot of people. But then again, as musicians, we're always hearing that, aren't we? Ah, you should do this for exposure. But
Finally, it was better for me because
mm,
it forced me to go further than I used to go because
yeah.
I transformed myself into a lyricist and
Mm,
I was like surprised to be quite free to write in
mm,
English, some poetry. And I was like that, oh, finally, that's good. I can be myself a writer as
mm.
well. So why not?
All
And
right.
and why not also French? I mean,
Ah, why not? Yeah, that's an expression typically in French. Yeah, you can help me because you understand. Um, uh, that means if I can do it, so let's do it. Something
yeah.
like that.
Well, I meant like what?
Why
Why
don't
not
you do
French
it?
lyrics too?
Yeah.
Why not write singing
Ah,
in
why not
French?
French lyrics? I like to be distant with another language.
I
Distant and
see.
close at the same times.
Mm,
That's special for me, but and I think in French sometimes it's too long to go to the ID.
mm,
Uh, that's why I like the English language for music because you are more direct, and
mm.
I like that.
And you could reach more people or
Yeah, so yes, as well. It's not the first reason, but of course, yeah, with the kind of music I'm practicing here in Belgium. I can feel that I'm more in an international way than in a country way, which are not like, not
but
so.
yeah. I'm sorry. Now that you brought that up, it's a question I've always wanted to ask foreign musicians. Does English limit you? Um, I would think it would, because some of these other diverse languages like French and Spanish, there's so much more color and so much more um, meaning
Yeah.
sometimes in the words that they use, and you limit it down to English and it's like, no, that's not exactly it. Did you run into that, or and is it just me?
Hmm. I don't see, I don't see that question like that. I could do it in Polish because my parents are from Polish origins, but on the same times, it will be more small to reach people. It will be more difficult to reach people. So yes, it's maybe a question of okay, I want to touch a large audience, not for money, of course, but to exist. How can I exist through my music and my words? And if I'm more, how can I say that? Maybe I feel that I can put my ideas in a small box, very specific in English, and I can't do that. And of course, there is another detail. My voice is different in French.
Mm.
Ah, well,
Yeah.
I'd like to hear that. I mean,
I
and
prefer
I
my voice in English when I'm singing in English. It's more loud than in French. It changes a little, the voice. Yeah. The language can change a little.
Mm.
do you want to add to that, Ken? Because you've obviously you born and raised English, but you're also in French, and I think you can speak. Can you speak French and Spanish?
I can't really speak Spanish. I mean,
Okay.
I know a lot of words and phrases, but not enough to really speak it like usefully. But I speak French quite well. I mean, for an American. I
Do
don't know. I
you
wanted to say
do you
I don't know if
feel it's limiting?
I don't know if I agree with your earlier statement though that English is a limited language. I mean, it's got like a
Well,
200,000 word, lexicon, and I just think each language has its there's sometimes when I'm talking to people now, especially having spent so much time in France, like I go, actually, the French have a much better way to say this thing, and I wish I could say it,
that's
because
what
it
I
doesn't
mean. Yeah,
work. But a lot of people would say the same things. They find stuff in English that like, I wish we had a word for that, like that's
yeah,
great that the English speakers have that. English is really adaptable. The fact
that's
that
true.
it can accommodate loan words and calcs very easily is, I think, kind of a strength that it has. But, also there's
We bring
sounds,
so much into our
Yes.
language as well. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a
Um,
melting pot. Yeah,
yeah. So, that the rhyming possibilities for English are pretty broad, because we have
yeah,
different rhyming schemes in a sense, where like, in Spanish and French, they will tell you, right, that the rhyming possibilities, can sometimes be somewhat limited in a sense, because you have certain word endings that come up all the time in a sense.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I have never been so bold as to attempt to write a song in French. I mean, I think that I would embarrass myself. I could maybe write one with Dominique, and she could help me, because there are certain things that as an amateur, you might end up saying something that just isn't really realistic, but I stick to what I do well. I speak
Yeah,
French
there
when
you
I'm
go.
at the bakery, but when I'm on stage, and I speak French in between songs if I'm with a French audience. Um, I can choose to do that or whatever. But English is where that's my home turf. So, I
Yeah,
just have
you
some
feel
depth
more
and
comfortable.
advantage there that I don't think I could ever build in French.
Now, coming back to Grażyna, will you tour? And this is kind of a different album. This isn't like a rock and roll where you're out there on the
Uh,
stage, but will you tour this album and will you play the album in its entirety?
Yes, so as it released 2 years ago, I already toured with this album. The first year, so in 2025, I made a tour in duo because all the time you have the problem of budget, of the availability of your musicians. So I create a duo with a French guitarist, well known in France because he has played with Alain Bachung, a singer very known who died a few years ago. And this guitarist and we recreate an atmosphere for piano, guitar, and voice through my album, even for the instrumental songs. So it works, and it has a little success to be programmed in some theater and festivals and venues more in France and Belgium. Then this year, I could make my tour in trio. So like in the album, it's more the roots of my album, but in jazz
Yeah.
trio. So with a drummer, with a bassist, and with me on piano and the thing. And of course, as I can't have all the time my guest, I had to took back the song that I wrote for them, and I had to sing them. and it works too. So now, after 2 years, I hope it will be still an occasion to play this album because I think it's not a question of time. It can be played during a long time because it's not a question of, oh, is it fashion or not? So I hope I will have other occasion in duo or in trio or in crossover concert with Ken or something like that. So everything is possible, I think. Everything.
All right. Now, just to get to know you just a little bit better, um, you're obviously busy making music. Do you work full time as well?
Yeah.
All right.
Music, yeah,
These
music.
days, yeah, you,
The full-time job. I'm composing for many projects. I'm playing for other projects than mine. Actually, I started rehearsals for a performance which is talking about women.
hmm,
And I took back my cello to play in this performance. So I'm using now a loop. I'm working with electronical music, so it's quite different. I'm not at the piano. I'm not a singer. I'm a cellist for someone else, and I'm using electronic inside as well. And it will be ready for the end of September.
all right. And then, do you have time? What I was trying to get to is, do you have time for hobbies? I know it's very difficult because you're involved with so much, but do you have time to travel or do things? And probably your music takes you on travels, but what do you like to do when you do have free time? If you ever do, I know it's difficult.
I don't know, Ken, do you want to start or?
Me, well, yeah, I've tried to diversify my life because I was really a workaholic, and so now I only work 6 days a week instead of seven.
Oh my God.
And so
Yeah.
on my Sundays, like today, I've really gotten into gardening, taking care of my roses, taking care of my house
Oh,
plant. I have just one, this mango tree that I'm growing here. I've gotten really into cooking, just trying to like be more of a well-rounded person. It's true that I work super hard all the time. I mean, I'm always in a
yeah.
session for somebody. So my day job, as it were, is making records for other people. And of course, this not only helps us live, but it's like every day I'm like learning. So it's like I go into like grad school, every day to become more proficient at the job I already have, in a way. But I'm just trying to be a more well-rounded person, exercise well, take care of I was diagnosed with cancer last year, so I've kind of had to rein in my health and kind of work with it a little more than and pay more attention to it, rather than just working 16-hour days. There were times in my life where I worked like 12-hour studio days plus, 2 or 3 hours
I can
of,
believe it.
listening to demos and stuff like that. I would do that for like 90 days in a row.
Yeah.
And this is like completely insane. No, no healthy person can do this. You have to be really like in another
Yeah, you have to
But you're very
like,
detached level of
inspired. Yeah.
detachment. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you're inspired to not deal with yourself, I think, if you're working that
Mm.
hard. But I think I really sometimes cringe when people say, well, life is a balance, blah, 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 because I think, you make
It's
hay
not
while the
that
sun
easy.
shines, right?
Yeah.
no,
It's like life is what it is. If you
Yeah.
need to pay your bills, you time to that. But I really have tried to be more rounded as a person. But honestly, between reading, cooking, taking care of my plants, that's it. You know what I mean? There goes my free time, which is fine with me. I take a walk every day, 20, 22 minutes to get my head into the nature for a little bit and think about something else other
Get
than
away
music.
from, yeah.
But I am
And
really into it. I don't want to make it sound like I'm not appreciating the opportunities I have because I really do. Trust me on this. But I need to think about other things for at least a little while during the day and just learn to be a more competent person.
and since you mentioned it, we're very happy to see you're recovered. Are you beyond it now? Have you beat it?
Unfortunately, I can't really say that,
Okay.
like the way my doctors have said to think of this is like you have a chronic disease and you always have to monitor, and it
Yeah.
may come back, from time to time, and we'll deal with it at that point. But right now, after my radiation treatment earlier this year, my numbers have been steadily zero. They just
Good.
remain zero, so it's undetectable, which is awesome. But the doctors wouldn't go so far as to say it will never be back. There just might be somewhere where even it rests below the assay floor of the test. But for now, it's good, and I feel really good because let me tell you, I didn't really think about my health one bit. Like any person, like suddenly you get ill and you go, "Oh, okay, I haven't been paying attention to certain things." And so I revamped my relationship with everything, stress, life, diet, etc., sleep. And so that's actually had incredible benefits, and because I take these very expensive pills, this little jar of pills here is like $1,000.
Oh,
And I have to pay for that every month. I'm not in Washington State, so it's expensive. But this little pill here means also because it's super hard on my liver that I can't drink alcohol, I can't drink caffeine. So I was like, well, okay, I'll deal with this. But now, like a few months down the road, I'm like, hey, I feel fantastic. This is, I think I'm in the best shape that I've been in like almost 20 years.
and he's been through some other things before this happened, and he had to get through all that before and then I'm like, what are they going to throw at him next? I mean, he's
They're
he's
probably not
a
unrelated.
he's definitely he could be an athlete, even though he's probably never you've never been involved in athletics probably, but you definitely are an athlete in a way because he's weathered some pretty tough storms this last couple of years.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love tennis. I watched the Roland Garros final. Just it ended like 15 minutes before our interview.
Oh, no kidding. All
Um,
right.
yeah, I
Is
never
that the
have time
French Open?
to watch tennis. Yeah, the
Yeah.
French
Yeah.
Open, and I love it. I played tennis a little bit, when I mean, I'm a little bit out of shape for that now, but I played tennis quite a bit in my 30s. I really got into it and was playing even on tour. I'd bring my rackets and I was on tour with REM. And if I had a day off, I'd like call somebody up and like go play tennis for like
Let's
four
go.
hours.
Yeah. I
But no,
love
no time for that
racquetball.
now.
I love
Mm,
racquetball and
yeah.
tennis, but my wife is the tennis. She absolutely loves it. But I know enough about it. Just, I would never be good at it. I know that. Racquetball, definitely. Yeah, that I mean, not anymore, but back in the day. And I'm sorry, Grażyna. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, we
Well, to
go ahead.
detach myself from work, it's very hard, but I have the best partner in life to do that, and Ken knows her. It's my dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a fan of dog. I'm a dog lover for years, and with
Me too.
yeah, that's she's a Siberian Husky. Her name
Oh,
is
wow.
Utah, and
Mm.
well, I think with animals I can cut myself from stress, from life, from okay, we have to run after money to pay our bill. We are not agree with that person because she forgot to program this or this. Okay, with my dog, I'm walking every morning 1 hour and a half, not
Oh,
Good.
less.
wow.
Good.
Yeah, I have to because she's very sportive.
Mm.
And she doesn't care who I am. That means she doesn't care if I'm a good pianist. She doesn't care if I'm
Yeah,
rich.
she takes you as you are.
If I'm
Yeah.
ill or something like that. She just need to be fed, to be cared, and to go
Love.
for a walk. So that means
Mm.
you just concentrate yourself to the essential. And that's very important for me to, okay, detach from the, oh, yes, you have an artistic life and that means that and that. No, not with a dog.
And where do you like going in Brussels? Tell us. some of your favorite places to go.
My favorite place
Yeah.
in Brussels. Mm, we have the chance. We are lucky in Brussels because we have a lot of green places. We have a lot of parks. So I'm exploring a lot those places with silence because I need silence to reboost myself and to recharge. So I like to go to the park next where I'm living because I'm used to go there every morning and I'm hearing the birds and all the time I'm saying, what a luck to hear the birds in a city, in a capital city like Brussels or like Paris or like London. It's so
Yeah.
important to have that part of nature still present in a city.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I would say that's the park. It's called the Duden Park, and it's very known in Brussels because you have a soccer stadium there, very known. So I think it's the best place to rest yourself a little.
And that you're so right about the birds. It's wonderful to finally have spring and then summer here where you finally open the windows and oh yeah, by the way, they've probably been doing it all year long, but you didn't hear them. But now, every morning, yeah, absolutely. It just sets the right tone.
Mm.
The song that you did together, Mirror, and the video, how did you put that together between the two of you? Was Ken doing it in the US? Because it looked more like France, but go ahead. I'll let you talk about how you
Well,
put that video together.
yeah, I had already the music and the lyrics, and as Ken was in United States to record, yeah.
I was just remembering the video. I was like, oh yeah,
The first video, maybe the
yeah.
first for the
Mirror.
album. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So to record the song, I put all my material to Ken, and I was like that. Okay, I'm trusting you because I like your voice. I know you can do something.
And he's a
Like,
producer. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And you have my proposition, but your voice is yours, not mine. So you will
Mm.
do through my proposition something very personal, and he did it.
Mm.
So we had the balance between our two personality, and I think
Mm.
that was the big deal of that song because it was not that's mine, that's her style. No,
Mm.
no, it was really a mix between
Mm.
our two universe. And
Mm.
for the video, yes, we did it separated because we were separated again. You were,
Yeah,
I think, in France. Was in
yeah,
Belgium. The first video I'm talking about, the first
yeah.
one. And
And
you and
Aiden is in it.
sorry?
And Aiden is in it, right? Too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
my daughter's like this.
Towards
We
the
filmed
end,
this
I
Yeah,
at
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
really.
Monique's
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She appears inside.
yeah,
Yeah,
we filmed it
yeah.
at my
So,
mother-in-law's house, so it's still
yeah.
and it's like it hasn't really changed much decor-wise probably since the 70s. They've been living there since the 60s. So we filmed it there at my parts.
Uh-huh.
And it works because as a mirror, we had two lives
Yeah.
Mm.
confronted. The Ken from a side, me from another. Are we connected or not? We don't know. It's just through suggestions, through
Mm.
image, and it's Lara Herbigna who made the editing from the video. Then from the second version, the alternative one. Um, we had the chance to be on the same place because Ken is used to go to Ile de Ré and I was used to go to Ile de Ré too, a small island in
Yeah,
France.
yeah.
And I wanted to have this island in my second video. So I proposed Ken to meet them a few days during the summer 2025, so 1 year
Mm.
ago, and we shoot with Dominique and
Mm.
uh, and my partner. We shoot the video there in front of the ocean, and it was
Yeah.
really nice to do it.
I don't think I've seen that second one. And which island was that? And where's it at?
It's called Ile de Ré. and it's off the Atlantic coast of France.
Oh, okay.
So if you're starting to head, you see
Past
France on the map,
Normandy.
it's got this big schnoz that's Brittany, and then you head
Yep.
down towards Spain, somewhere about halfway down,
Oh, okay.
north of Bordeaux, you'll
Yeah.
find this little island. You'll find a city called La Rochelle. You can find that on the map pretty easily.
Okay.
And then there's Ile de Ré, just
You have
it's
to,
connected by a bridge to
yeah,
the
you
to the
have a
mainland.
big bridge to cross, yeah, to
It's
Oh,
a
get.
nice little
to
island. It's really small. It's very
Yeah.
natural. It's really beautiful. So we spend some time there every summer. It's a magical
Yeah.
place.
I'll have to look that one up. Yeah, because the only one I saw was the original one where you're split, but I'll definitely have to look for that. And everyone
Oh
else that's
yeah.
listening,
Hmm.
you want to see that one for sure. Yeah, I definitely do. All right. Well, all right. Let's talk about the album. Um, let's start. I don't know if you want to go track by track. How do you feel about that? Um, the first one. Let me just ask you because I there's no really perfect solid reference to it, but I couldn't imagine any other meaning behind it. But I took it to mean the Mayflower, the ship that came to the United States. Is that the meaning behind? Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, I hope I got this right. No, the Pilgrims and all that. But tell us the inspiration for that.
Yeah, so there is a poem from Sylvia Plath which is called Mayflower. So I was reading about the history in United States, about the sheep and so on. And then I wanted to use that story inside my own life because sometimes we are lost and sometimes we
Yeah.
have to get another board. So I mixed the two stories in one text and it gives Mayflower from my album. That's just a tribute to the history and also something very metaphoric, very symbolist. So you can understand something for you or not. That's your choice, that's free. But indeed, you have that part of history inside the text. Yeah, yeah.
Ken, do you want to add anything or?
Well, it's not my album, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
No,
let
that's all right.
her let
Didn't
her drive
didn't
for
listen to
this.
the other songs.
I did listen. Yes, it's a great album, but I don't have any special insight to
Yeah.
give
No,
because I
no,
didn't
that's all
write
right.
the songs or make them.
Yeah, no, no, I know. All
I'm
right.
just a
And
fan.
Poppies in July is a wonderful piano song. It really lets you let loose and enjoy that instrument you love. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, Puppies in July is also the same title as a poem from Platt. Um, and of course, I wanted to make the sensation of the summer inside the instruments something very, you are close to something all the time in movements, but on the same time, it's comfortable, it's not aggressive,
Mm.
it takes you from the end, from one side to another. And Puppies in July, it's the opposite of the Sylvia Plath meanings text because in her text she's quite negative, and I wanted to give her a positive answer to her puppies with my puppies in July, but instrumentally. So there is no lyrics, it's only music, but in a positive way, I hope.
In what way was it negative? Um,
From Sylvia Plath because she's describing the text describes a woman who is watching the poppies moving during the summer with the red color, but she's like very nostalgic. She's low down. She doesn't have the energy. So you can feel that she's watching something very strong, but she's not strong anymore. That's for me the
okay.
the first idea. And I wanted to say with my puppies in July, no, no, not all the time. You can have that energy. You have to watch through your head, even if you can't catch those flowers. You are there. You exist.
Well, when Ken was talking about France and he was describing where it was, I was thinking north, like Normandy, and we just got through famous June 6th,
Mm.
the longest day, the Normandy landing. And there's a lot, poppies are used in Canada and England as sort of a symbol of, respect and memories of the fallen and things like that. And that's why when you said a negative aspect, I was kind of thinking maybe you're
Ah, no,
going,
no, it's nothing to do with the
okay,
symbol of war or something like that. It was
yeah,
just, yeah, it was just concerned by the text of Sylvia Plath. Yeah.
all right.
That means, I mean, the poppies were not negative, but the person who were watching the poppies in her text is
Oh, I
negative,
got you.
nostalgic.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more that like that.
All right. And then Fawn is a beautiful song. Soft piano, violin. And did you do all the instruments
Uh,
on the,
I play the piano, I make the backing voice, but here in phone you have another guest in my album. She's also an American
oh,
singer, but
that's right. Yeah.
yeah, Gina Crescitiello, but she lives in Belgium from years, since years now, and I love her voice since I met her because it's very specific too. So I asked her to be the phone woman of my album, and she did it well too. And I've written the strings with another musicians to put some strings only on that tune. Yes, it's only on that tune because it reminds me my background in classical music. As I'm a cello player, I wanted to put once somewhere in that album some strings, and it was on phone.
And do you want to talk a little bit about the poem that inspired it or?
Yeah, I change everything I sing in that poem, except the title as well, because my phone is like someone who is falling in love, but who is hiding in the forest. So it's like, I'm telling a story about someone who is shy in front of the beauty of a woman. But the phone of Sylvia, it's quite different. But when I decided to write, it was okay, I will do the opposite, or I will answer to her, or I will give another vision of what she wrote. So there were three possibilities through my lyrics to guide the the album through my texts. And phone, I think it was something completely different, something fresh, something innocent, through love, because I wanted to use this thematic. Love is everywhere all the time in music, so I wanted to use it there.
All right.
Love and desire as well, because he's watching the nymph, he's hiding, watching her. So it's also a question of desire.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Monologue at 4 a.m. Yeah, what do you talk about at 4 a.m. in the morning?
About,
And, and
I don't know if you sleep well, but it's about the insomnia.
Like
Sometimes
25 or 6 to 4.
yeah,
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 this morning, it's Sunday morning, and my wife was like, "Why are you up so early?" I don't know why. Yeah, it's just I didn't, it was 6 o'clock, which really for most people that's probably not too early.
yeah.
It's definitely not 4 o'clock, but still for Sunday, it's who
It's
gets
quite
up at
early.
six?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know
and
if you are brave or something like that, but sometimes I can't sleep because I'm all the time thinking about my
yeah,
project and so on. And so I'm catched by the insomnia, and I wanted to talk about that without words. That's why this song is start very slowly, like okay, I'm just I'm waking up, but it's hard, but I want to sleep, but I can't. And you are between all the two status. And then it goes with the vibraphone that I used in this song very specifically. There is a solo of vibraphone.
Yeah.
I like these instruments, and I was like, okay, whatever. If you are asleep, sleep. If you are not, stay awake during the night. There is no importance to that. It's
Okay.
not so important. Feel free to be like you have to be.
Exactly. Yeah. This morning, mine was, I think it was, I wrote this huge review and I was like dying to see if anyone
Yeah,
even looked at it.
that's
And
why it's called monologue at 4 a.m. because if you want to speak to yourself at 4 a.m., do it.
yeah. All right. Let's see. We talked about Mirror. Is there anything else you either of you wanted to say about Mirror?
Mhm. I think Mirror is, I think the best experience I have in songwriting. I would say that.
Wow.
Yeah, for me that's a big thing. It will be all the time in my heart because it was the first song I wrote for this album because Ken was agreed to sing them.
Mm.
Uh, and he did it. I wanted to make like, a tuxedo. My songs, I like a tuxedo for the guest. And
Mm.
I hope he will be agree again with me. I hope I did a nice tuxedo for Ken.
Yeah. A
Let me.
tuxedo. Um, so
A
in my
tuxedo,
memory,
yeah.
in my memory, there was a guide vocal, if I recall correctly. And so in my memory, now it's a few years since we did the song, but in my memory, like there's a really clear roadmap. And so I'm singing that and it's quite constrained, she knows exactly what she wants. And then the song opens up to this ending outro that's almost as long as the song. And that starts to get very free. So like there's this whole part where okay, I'm tr really trying to respect the timing and everything and the melody that she's created, and then at the end, like you can just like
Yeah,
go off the map. And this is, of course, like really cathartic, and you can feel that in my voice, where I can
yeah,
kind of like let it open up and flow a lot more, and get these long notes, and it gets like all this drama. So there's like tension, 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 and
Yeah.
then release, 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 which is like kind of exactly what you want in a tune.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I didn't say it to Ken before he did it because I wanted him to stay the more free he could be
Mhm.
inside the song. Because when I'm asking to another musician to integrate my work, I'm
Mhm.
always trying to preserve his
Mhm.
personality. It's important for
Mhm.
me because an artist it's not only something mechanical who is doing something you give to him.
Yeah.
He has his own feelings, his own background, and that's why I like his voice. It's not because it's perfect like that, not because it lives, and I like that kind of life. That's why I
Okay.
wanted.
I'm gonna throw something at you guys. Let's see if you guys remember this because it the music isn't the same, but just this concept about these two people sort of figure out where they're going to go with their relationship. Let's see if you guys remember.
Fleetwood Mac.
No, good. That's a good choice. Yeah, definitely. This is, I think it'll blow the two of you away. Hopefully, you've even heard this song. I know there's something going on. Phil Collins and one of the lead singers from ABBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
Great
yeah,
you remember
tune.
that song?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It, I
Agneta.
don't know. The minute I saw the video, I guess is what did it. I was like, oh my God. And no, and I know you didn't copy or nothing. I'm not saying anything like
It's
that. It just
pretty different
kind of,
vibe,
huh?
yeah. It's a pretty different vibe, that tune with
yeah,
the
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, oh
heavy
yeah,
drums,
yeah.
and everything. It's like all drums, the whole song.
It's him. It's his drums. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just, I don't know. What do you think of that? Or we'll just table it.
I mean, as a point of comparison, I mean,
I
there's,
don't know.
I don't know. It's musically, stylistically, it's from a pretty different world. I
Yeah,
mean, there are lots
definitely.
of male-female
Yeah.
duets, I suppose.
Which Fleetwood Mac? I'm dying to hear which one you're
Well, I
thinking
mean,
of.
it just, like I just mentioned that because you're talking about, um,
When you
you
said
know,
Fleetwood Mac, though, the first thing that came to me was Tom
yeah.
Petty and
Oh,
uh,
like Stop Dragging My Heart Around.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But is there a Fleetwood Mac song?
So
Yeah.
like my daughter, strangely enough, I think this has become a TikTok phenomenon somehow or something like that, but my daughter is super into the song Silver Springs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song has had like an internet resurgence lately, and it is a
It
great
has.
song. It's one that I didn't know
Yeah.
back in the day. But this like there's a lot going on
Yeah.
emotionally,
Definitely.
psychologically, and if you
Yeah.
know the story of all the,
Stevie and yeah. Oh,
relationship
definitely.
chaos that that
Yeah.
band
Yeah.
had, etc. That song is quite amazing.
It is. It really is.
Those two are good references for me, so that's like a compliment. Even if
Mm,
it's quite
yeah,
different from what
yeah.
I'm doing, I'm taking that like a compliment. So thank you.
She's gonna go listen to it after. No, I'm kidding. No, they're both excellent songs.
Mm.
All right. Then we get to Thorns. Tell us about Thorns. No one likes
Ah,
Thorns.
Thorns. Yeah, Thorns. That's the a cappella song. So there is no instruments, only me plus three. That means that I wanted to create something very harmonizing with my voice.
Hmm.
Very short. It's a short song. It's
It
only
is.
the voice inside the world telling us that sometimes words are not necessary. Sometimes you just have to shut down, listen, watching, living, being, but not all the time talking, speaking, arguing, struggling, and so on. So Torrent, it's very, for me, it's very, ha, yeah, it's very emotional because I took the life of Sylvia Plath as a model. She was divided between her real life with kids, husband, and on the same time with her husband, it was difficult sometimes because as he was also a poet, they were sometimes in concurrence. Um, so everything is in the words, but with this and thorns, it means in French, épine. It's something that can hurt you as well inside your skin. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
they definitely
yeah,
hurt.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you can
Um,
be hurt inside your skin and inside your heart. It
and your
depends.
husky made an appearance,
Mm.
which is really cute.
Oh yes, she's there.
Yeah.
Mm.
So let me introduce you, Yuta.
Yuka, cuckoo.
Yeah.
Sleepy. All right.
Mm.
Um, Unresolved. What is
And
left
result
unresolved?
is,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the best example of the opposite way to Sylvia Plath because she wrote resolved and I wrote unresolved, an instrumental song in a trio shape with drums, bass, and piano. And it's quite, energy. There was a lot of
Yeah.
energy. Yes, yes. I wanted to put myself in Africa because you can feel something very
Oh,
like in the desert, something
yeah.
very yeah, it took you from the skin to your head and it hurts as well a little, but not in a negative way because you are under the sun. It burns. Unresolved burns for me. I
All
wanted
right.
to reach that kind of atmosphere. Yeah.
All right. And you on the next one, do we you sung it with a Belgian artist. Is it Dan? Don?
Yeah. Dan, yeah, that's a
Don.
very known Belgian artist from the Flemish side. We worked together many years ago, and I wanted to make a song which is a tribute to all the couples in the world, all the lovers in the world, but which is also talking about the relationship between Sylvia Plath and her husband, Ted Hughes, because it was as I said recently, it was sometimes difficult for him and for her to accept their position in literature. She had a success. He was a very successful poet, and sometimes it was struggling inside their couple. And I wanted to talk about that because I think we are all confronted to that kind of situation sometimes in our life. And yes, it's quite real after all to be sometimes to ask yourself, am I doing too much for love? Am I forgetting myself for love? And what am I doing for my career, for my realization, for my heart? Do we? That's like a question open
Yeah.
to every kind of answer you could give about that kind of situation.
And he's very well known. His voice reminded me a little bit of Johnny Cash and
Yes,
Tom
that's
Waits. If you
right.
bring those two together, if you
Yeah,
could
yeah,
possibly
yeah.
do that now, um, and hopefully he looks at that as a compliment because both of those two guys are great singers.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I chose him because of that Johnny Cash voice, Johnny Cash style, but Belgian style. But yeah, yeah.
And does he have his own band or?
He has his own band and under his name, so it's a solo artist, and he's now he's known since 25 years in Belgium. Yeah,
Oh,
something.
okay.
Yeah, that's rock music. But we worked together because for one of his album, I was his pianist for the promo.
Okay.
It was maybe
Unique. Let's
sorry.
talk about unique.
Unique. Unique, it's quite special because it's not very connected to Sylvia Plath. Uh, Unique is unique because everyone is unique. As I'm a unique child, I don't know if it's correct. I
Only
don't have
child.
own
Only
child,
child. Oh, okay.
only child. I don't have any brothers, sisters. So I was all the time confronted to be alone to do that, to be alone to go somewhere, to be alone to support something, to so I wrote this because after all, we all are alone one
Mm.
day.
Or will end up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and but alone doesn't mean poor or sad or abandoned.
Mm.
Uh, that means, first of all, unique. That was the positive meaning of
Mm.
being alone for me. You are unique, and everyone is unique.
You just
Can
got to be comfortable with yourself. And
yeah,
eventually
yeah,
we reach that, hopefully in adulthood. But
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. All right. God is a field.
God
Another.
is a field. Yeah, God is a field is also something very distant from the poem of Sylvia Plath, because God is a field. It's my desire to open the windows despite any religion, despite any choices of life, if you prefer men or women, or if you are uh, between everything or not. So it was something that maybe gave us the hope to be yourself, first of all, despite any category of uh, job or position or something like that. God is a field. That means a field, it's big, it's something big, it's open, it's free, it's you can walk inside, and what's God after all? Maybe God is inside yourself. Maybe you have to find your own God to pursue your life more comfortable as well. That was just my small message.
All right. What's different of the poppies in October?
There is also a Puppies in October in Sylvia Plath's collection of texts. So I took mine, Puppies in October, and it was the first song, the first instrumental song I composed for that album. And I wanted something very light, very positive as well. And I'm born in October. I was like that. Okay, it will be my song because Poppy's in October. I like poppies. I'm from October. Ken is October too. We are two October child.
Almost late September. Yeah.
Ah, almost. Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe you are like me, a Libra.
Yeah.
Oh, well, welcome. So
Hmm.
Poppy's in October. It's like yeah, an hymn song for the October people. But it's quite nice to create something in, it's not jazz, but it's not narrative completely. It's something very simple, something very light. So I wanted to put all that atmosphere in that song. Yeah.
All right. And then The Edge, the final closing
Uh,
song.
yeah, The Edge, the final
You
song, it's
got, I mean,
more
the title's
cinematographic.
The Edge of Sylvia. You got to end it with The Edge, right?
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
again with the Belgian singer Dan. That's the voice I choose for that song, and that's the most cinematographic song I wrote. And it Edge is the last poem Sylvia Plath wrote before she commit her suicide. So I
Oh,
wanted to use that title to finish my album like a tribute and with something very narrative. Only with the piano. That means the only instrument you have in that song is the piano that I was struggling like that, and I used some effects on the piano. I play real piano, I use the sound and I transform it, and that's it. I wanted to have the voice and the piano because that's
yeah.
the first part of me. I'm playing the piano, I have the voice, and so it was like to finish with something very little but very pure. Yeah.
Excellent. Um, okay. Well, now both of you are, as I mentioned earlier, both of you are working on albums. Who wants to go first? Talk about.
Ken, maybe.
About the album I'm working on.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I mean,
I
you're solo. I think it's gonna be a solo, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the follow-up to my album Circuit Breaker, which you can see behind Grażyna on her bookshelf.
And I
Um,
have it, but I've got everything set up for
Yeah,
I haven't made it
26, but
into.
go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, I'm of course I've been working on the songs for this for a little while, but then also with my cancer diagnosis, I had some more insights into living and dying, really, and just kind of deepened my relationship with both in a sense. Dying is something we never really want to think about, and we kind of,
No.
it's like a taboo subject, right? And then as you get older, you're like, well, it will happen, I
Yeah.
mean, that was always the case, but as you get
And you're
older,
getting closer to it now. Yeah.
you're getting a little closer to it. And then with a cancer diagnosis, it's impossible not
Yeah.
to like
Think about it.
really go, oh yeah, it could be very soon. Touch wood, that it's not. But so I think there's some really rich material in there. And also just, I just dive deeper and deeper and deeper into, myself. I mean, like in other words, the relationship you have with yourself determines how successful the relationships will be that you have with the rest of the world.
That's true.
So it's also like kind of taboo in certain ways to talk about deepening the relationship with yourself because we associate that with not thinking about other people. But actually, it's conscientious to resolve your inner issues, etc., and get to know yourself better and to love yourself because you'll be more effective at
Helping.
at loving the people around you, being compassionate, being present, and all this. So as I have been working on that pretty hardcore for the last few years, I uncovered some things about myself and some knowledge about how I came to be the way I am that has helped me kind of course correct and be more mature and more at peace and just a general improvement for all the people that have to put up with me here on planet Earth. So that's a lot of material to draw
Yeah.
from which to draw upon for an album. So as far as the technical bit goes, this album was recorded pretty much entirely at my studio near Seattle. In last album, I had quite a few guest musicians. You know, I had Susie Quattro and I had Lydia Lunch and I had Pete Thomas from Elvis Costello's band and all this stuff. Fantastic. This album, it's just myself plus Steve Gale, the same drummer who played on my last album. And so it's very personal. It's very
Hmm.
intense. It's really good sounding because I learned a lot about music production even in the 2 years from the time I made my last album to
Yeah.
now. I've learned a lot about mixing and stuff like that. So I think sonically it's pretty incredible, but most importantly, the depth of the subject matter. I have more, how do you say? I can look into subjects a little more deeply because I'm more open and more clear. And so I turn the telescope in here and then I turn the telescope out there and compare the two results and that's where the songs come from.
All right. And definitely already interested in that. When, how close are you to completing it? When do you think it'll be released? Not pushing you, just wanting to let everyone know.
Yeah, so I mean I've because I also since coming out of treatment where I took some time off, a lot of that time off I spent working on this album, which is good, but I came out of treatment all of a sudden like my calendar just went like, like I am
Yeah.
booked, into almost November now. So I had to schedule in find some little chunks where I could mix the last few songs. So hopefully next month, the idea is that I will have mixed all the songs, and I've already contacted for mastering Bob West, who mastered my last album. And so I put him on notice that I need him in September because I'm going to use August while I'm on Ile de Ré to really listen to the mixes and just make sure we really like all this stuff. And if I have to, I'll run somewhere where I can mix. If I have to change anything, but hopefully I'll get it all on the first go. And then we'll spend that time. I'm going to be on the island all of August and all of September so that we can shoot all the videos and the
Oh,
promo
cool.
pictures. You know, Dominique, my wife,
Yeah.
did all the videos for the last album, and we will continue with that. You know, just keep it real and keep it homemade.
Keep it in the
We bought a
family. Yeah.
little bit more equipment, but not much more. And with that small investment, relatively speaking, we can do a whole bunch of videos. And Dominique's skills in making videos has gone up and up and up. Um, and it also helps that, when I'm on an island, I swim in the Atlantic Ocean for like 30 minutes every day. It's sunny and nice, so I look decent. I don't look like this mushroom that I usually look like. And so this is also good for the photos. But so that all being said, it seems like if we can get we have the mastering done in September, that there's this cutoff of like, can we get it out before summer? And right now we can. So I think we could actually get this out uh, by the beginning of spring 2027, and then I could be touring by that time.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, any
Fingers crossed.
title yet or
I'm not going to share the title
okay.
yet. It's kind of a heavy title, and it's really unique, and it's a word that exists that nobody uses. That I was like, because I first read this word in an article, and I was like, whoa, that is a heavy word, man. And but without telling you what it is, it really wraps up the idea. I'll tell you the concept behind the title, and then you can just kind of think about that. I don't think you'll
Google
deduce the title
it.
from here,
No, no.
but my theory is that you know what we do as conscious beings. We we recreate the entire universe in our minds, right?
Yeah.
So like I
So
know
we can deal with it.
Grażyna,
Yeah.
and I have an idea, all these ideas about Grażyna. I know what she looks like. I know how her voice sounds. I know some things about her story. I know what it's like to be her friend. I know what it's like to work with her. Like I have all these impressions, and in there I create in my mind my file of Grażyna that I refer to each time I think of Grażyna or each time I see Grażyna. but she is not in my head. And there's an entire existence that Grażyna has that is completely independent from any interaction I have, because obviously I'm not in her mind 24 hours a day, thank goodness. That we all have separate minds, right? Um,
Yeah.
I think it's just better that way.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
but anyway, so like I have a file there. There's my daughter, Aiden. She lives in my head as a file that I've made of her for all the emotional and historical impressions I have for her, et cetera, et cetera. When I read about um, George Washington chopping down the cherry tree, I get my own impression of what George Washington is like, and so on and so forth. When I listen to Yellow Submarine, I have my own version. So, in a sense, like you and I barely experience the same record because every time we have an experience about something, we are bringing to bear on that experience our own individual pasts,
Yep.
knowledge, impressions, etc., that make the experience of hearing something or reading a book or meeting a person or eating a meal completely unique for each person. So the idea is that when a person dies, an entire universe dies with them.
Yeah.
It's gone because they have a unique interaction with everything else that they've ever seen. Even famous things like whatever Brad Pitt or Marilyn Monroe, they have their own relationship to that and their own impressions about why they would have stored an impression about these things that we think are all in common. But
Yeah.
each person contains an entire universe. And since we cannot transmit everything that we know and everything that we've learned and everything that we see to other people, it dies with us. That's
Yeah.
just it. You'll never be able to explain, like describe to someone the sunset that you found so beautiful or the even how you felt about a beautiful piece of poetry. There's just not enough time to convey all of that to other people. So it dies with you. And it's, both beautiful that it exists, but also sad because there's much about each person that we'll never get to experience, that no
We
one
wish
will
we
ever
could
get to
share. Yeah.
experience.
And you
So
guys do it through music. You try to share some of that. Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
slice, this is
Yeah.
the best we can do. We are trapped inside our own sort of consciousness bubble that's
Yeah.
completely independent and privileged to anyone else's. I cannot invite you into my head to share with you my world, and neither can you. So we do just a little bit of exchange through language, art, etc., but it's minuscule compared to the richness that each person has inside them.
Okay. I'm going to just, and you're going to laugh at me, I'm sure. But that's okay. Um, the follow-up to this should be the AI experience because they cannot experience these things. And you keep hearing more and more about AI and how it's going to take everything over and blah blah blah. But they can't do that, and they never probably they'll never feel it. Let's put it that way. Yeah, you can store anything in a computer, but you don't have the feelings and the emotions, and you can't recreate that sunset, as you said, or that day on the
Totally.
beach when you're swimming. But anyway, I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay. Yeah.
went way off here.
And it won't never taste the same as the real one.
There you
That
go.
that's the
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
And okay, he's not saying anything because anyway. All right. Um, do you want to say anything or he's thinking about it, I think, or
Me, no. I mean, I think I've said more that I mean, I think I've
okay.
used up all the time for that I need for to talk about my album, but I hope
I
everybody
I can't
will
wait.
enjoy it.
I can't wait. No, that sounds like a lot of interesting music, and definitely the thought process is going to be fun to work through. Definitely, I'm looking forward to it already. Okay, Gugina, tell us what
Yes,
you're working on.
yes. I'm actually producing my next album as well. I started a few months ago, and with me, you already have three albums in advance in my mind.
Good. No, that's good.
Things, the deal is to find the way to do them, the time to do them, the budget to do them. But I
Mm.
have so much ideas all the time, and I want to do this and this, and I like contrast in music, so I want all the time to catch people who are very different from my roots, from my feedback, my background. That's why I'm like to work with Ken, for example. But in this next album, I'm really inspired by film music because I wanted
Oh,
to go
good.
back to my roots, so to my instrumental music. There will be some songs with lyrics as well, but I took the train when
Mm.
Jim Jarmusch released his last movie, Brother, Mother, Sister, and so on. And I was reading an interview, and he was saying, I don't think I will put any music on that film. I don't know why. It was before the release of the movie. But finally, he put some music. But I took the first idea and I was like that. What if I'm doing a soundtrack without any movie, but a soundtrack with a lot of songs of composition, which will be inspiring to create your own movie in your mind, which will
Oh, wow.
inspire you some stories, some emotions, some feelings. So I'm inside the production now. I hope it will be ready for next year. And I will be working as well with the French guitarist, sorry, I was playing for my album. It's Yann Péchin, because he has a very free language with electric guitar, and I wanted to add his language to my very classical piano to create something very atmospheric and very narrative as well. So I have to finish it as well. And I hope in a
And
few months it will be ready because I'm very impatient to do the next one as well.
wow. So
Yeah.
what kind of release date are you looking at potentially by the end of this year?
No, maybe more the beginning of the next one. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. 2027. Yeah. Yeah. I
And
think it's more realistic. I don't like to give any plan because
sure.
it's never like you program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very, no, I'm very, very, very prudent.
And I'm so glad you said movies because I got to this age. I won't mention my age, but I'm old enough now that, I'm close to retirement. I'm not retired yet, but I imagine that when I got to this age, I'd be able to sit back and just watch all these fantastic movies that would be coming out. And then they started going back and refilming the 80s and the 70s and the 90s again and just releasing them as, and I'm like, oh my God, this isn't what I waited for. But, but then along came 2026, and we have at least two massive movies that I'm looking forward to. Odyssey, which is just, I read all those books when I was a little kid. So there's that. And then the one that, and let's see if Ken knows or has any interest in this, Spielberg's new uh, sci-fi. Some people say it's a sequel to um, what's the
Close
famous
Encounters.
Close
Yeah.
Encounters.
Or
Um,
maybe it's a sequel to E.T. It could be both.
it could be either, yeah. Those two are just off the table. It's like, thank you. Somebody is finally making movies like we used to. Any thoughts on that? I know we're way off the subject, but
No, it can touch all the subject like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
are either you looking forward to those two, or maybe there's others that I don't know about that you know about?
yeah, well, I've been, I've really enjoyed the first two, and there's a third coming out at the end of the
Oh,
year of the adaptations of Dune.
Dune. Yeah, it's going to
By
be
Denis
great.
Villeneuve. These are really, really well done. So I'm sure that I'll be seeing that one.
I totally
Uh,
forgot about that. Yeah, that's another on the list. Yeah. And they really, push those. I'll add one more to it. Although I'm not real keyed up about the story of Gollum, because I think it's already been covered, but anything with Lord of the Rings, and I know I'll be there, but
Mm.
I'm somewhat interested in that, but not as much as I would have if they were going back to. Although there is some talk he may do Cimarron,
Brilliant. Yeah, wow, it's
which,
ambitious.
oh my God, that I would, and everyone wants that.
Mhm.
But so maybe there is a future in movies, I hope, and definitely bringing back 70 millimeter and things like that. If you're going to go see that, Ken, there's a place in Seattle, the famous, I can't remember the name of it, but they're doing a 70 millimeter just for that movie, Odyssey, if you're interested in that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
All right.
Yeah.
Way off subject. Anyone? Okay. So let me just ask the big question, and that's, do either of you have anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to talk about?
Oh
Oh,
my.
well, I'm just throwing the idea like that. Maybe we will
Oh, yeah.
collaborate
Are
again with
you
Ken.
guys going to collaborate again? Yeah. Oh,
I hope
how did
so.
I
I
miss that one?
hope.
Yeah.
I hope. Maybe in another way. That means I just want Ken to throw myself from my habit. That's
Oh,
the big challenge.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I have the idea to do something very different without my piano.
Hmm.
To dive into another musical world because I'm always searching something new to go further with myself. So
Okay.
yeah. So
Duly noted. Yeah,
let's think
yeah,
about it and we will discuss again, I think.
great.
Yeah.
Any anything else I might have missed?
I don't
We
think.
covered quite a lot of ground there.
We did.
Yeah, I think we did good.
And thank you both for taking. We kind of talked about the how long this is going to take, but you get into it, and it's like
Yeah.
you never know. Everyone always asks me, "How long is this going to be?" I don't know, because it's how fast do you answer questions, and
Mm.
do we go off subject like we all did? But I think we had a fantastic time. I enjoyed it talking with both
Thank
of
you.
you. I mean,
Yeah,
I
thank you.
always enjoyed talking with him.
I think
But
the dog enjoyed too. She's
Yeah,
oh
she's right
yeah,
out.
he's
Yeah.
he's falling asleep, or she.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both. Really, it
Thank
has
you too.
been absolutely fantastic, and I look forward to whatever you do, either of you, and hopefully you do come back together and do something together.
Yeah.
But yeah, both of you, don't forget my address, and I think you both have my email. Please send whatever you uh, finish. I want to review it. I want to hear it. I love it, your work, and you don't have to even ask me. Just send it.
Thank you.
Um,
Great.
but yeah,
Thank you.
thank you both
That's
very much.
important for us. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry.
That's very important for me to know that someone is very interested
Mm.
from outside of Belgium. That's
Yeah.
Mm.
even more precious for me. Yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot.
All right. Anything else? Otherwise, I'll stop the recording.
Think we got it. That's
I think it's complete. Yeah,
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
All right. Hold on just a second. Again, thank you both for being here today.